Enter Brent Musburger taking over here from Herd and Horns again. Day 4 of Fargo 2019 USA Wrestling Junior National Championships. The live podcast from Herd and Horns. Joining me, Earl Smith, the Earl of Tom from the Open Mat, and the greatest mind in wrestling, Willie Saylor from Flow Wrestling. Day 4, this is round 2 for us here. We made sure we were sudsed up a little bit more, so we start strong and we end strong. And we're avoiding any discussions about Taylor Ham in New Jersey. So we've banished Coach Foca to the peanut gallery. So we're here doing this again. Herd and Horns, they've been a great host for us here. A lot of fun here in Fargo, and they got USA branded mugs. This place has totally opened up their hearts to the sport of wrestling in a way no other place in the area really has.
It's cool, right? I mean, and not a lot of places in Fargo do it, but not a lot of places, any wrestling tournament do it. It's set up nice for us, and
I mean, it's like
they're playing they're playing the streams.
Yeah, we're watching Flow right now in the bar. Like, we're watching the women's tournament over here. Bar and grill. It's not like this is the Applebee's in Austin by any means, but Willie's favorite spot. Willie's office.
Listen, there's an Applebee's near every venue.
Yeah,
I often end up there.
I
don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on like locally.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought Applebee's and B-Dubs would be natural wrestling tournament sponsored places, because you can't go to a wrestling tournament and not see a B-Dub somewhere.
Yeah, I like that they play the streams. The first one that I recall that played streams was a little bar next to Hershey Park called Parkside.
I've been to that place.
It used to be a real dump hole in the wall.
Well, it's got a dumpish feel to it still, but it
used to be.
Nothing says Pennsylvania wrestling like that bar.
they updated it. You go in there, it's like modern. I was pissed about it. I want wood floors. I want dirt. I want holes in the wall.
It's like the turf.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to say it since we're here, but yeah.
Oh well, there is a.
I like that stuff, but I put the Flow stream on there. We had PA States, I don't know, 6 years ago maybe, for a year or two, and then we didn't have it, and then we had it last year. But they play it out there, and people love it.
Yeah, I mean, I love in my drive home from Ubers, the drivers are asking me, oh, what are they doing today? Is it cadets? Is it Greco? They actually know what's going on. They're interested in it. You don't get that from other places.
Oh, absolutely not. And of course, this place is, again, co-owned by two wrestlers, two of the best wrestlers ever wrestle in Division II when North Dakota State was Division II. Steve Saxland and Todd Fuller, both three-time national champions here for Bucky Maughan's monster teams back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So a lot of wrestling history in this place as well. Not to mention just their multi-time FCS, formerly 1AA National Football Championships. I mean, there is a Carson Wentz poster over there, Willie.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, North Dakota State Bison. Where's the tie in?
Me and Earl we're DC fans.
Well,
darn right we are.
Yeah, well,
curly W's.
Well, I don't mind the curly W's. It's the Redskins I'm just not a fan of.
Nobody is.
So, hey, what?
Stupid Timmy Smith.
I was a Bronco. That was the first time I ever cried during a sporting event, was that Super Bowl when Timmy Smith came out of nowhere and ran for 200 yards.
And you were probably elated when it was 10-0 after the first minute or two of the game. Ricky Nattiel and Elway connecting, and then Doug Williams went bonkers with a 35-point second quarter. That was the first time I ever bet on football. I lost a total. I had 10 different bets for a total of $1. I'll bet you a nickel.
You bet on that was 80 cents.
So you were 7 or 8.
I was third grade. I was in third grade. It was Super Bowl 22, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
21 was the Giants Broncos. 22 was the Redskins Broncos. 23 was the Bengals 49ers.
49ers Broncos after that.
Yeah.
Dude, you were
New Orleans.
5 years old.
No.
1988.
I was in third grade. 87, 88.
Well, I mean, okay.
I'm
third
39,
grade.
Willie. We graduated the same year.
You bet on sports in third grade?
It was a nickel. It was $1. I mean, total.
Listen, I know that I'm definitely a bigger degenerate than you. But I mean, at that point, you might have been more degenerate than me.
Well, yeah. I mean, Newport News City School Systems. That's maybe why I moved to Pocosin. They didn't call it bad news for nothing. They're teaching how to gamble in the 3rd grade at BC Charles Elementary School.
Home of Michael Vick.
Michael Vick went to high school with my stepbrother.
There you go.
Graduated from Warwick High School. Then not Warwick, Warwick. By the way, we need to jump in on that real quick. There was some talk about Michael Vick on Twitter, and we have to correct the record. Michael Vick was never first team all district.
I know.
Never first team all district.
I know who it was.
Ronald
Willie.
Curry played wide receiver for the Raiders.
I was a
Basketball player
I was
and
a
football
huge.
player.
At one time, I was a huge college basketball fan, and my team was Carolina. So he doubled up.
Not one of the schools you actually attended.
No. I don't know why I started liking North Carolina. It was after Jordan. I didn't even know basketball existed when I was that young. Like I paid no mind, but
Pay no mind.
But yeah,
Beck
Ronald
song,
Curry. Oddly enough, North Carolina basketball has had a couple guys double up. Like
J.R. Reed.
Julius
No,
Peppers.
not
Julius Peppers.
J.R. Reed was
J.R.
from the
Reed.
area.
That's who it was.
No, Reed played basketball. He didn't play football. It was who?
No,
but
it's Julius Peppers. But
Yeah.
my point is, that's why I started liking Carolina, because of J.R. Reed.
J.R. Reed was from Virginia.
He's from Virginia. There
I
you
think
go.
he went to Kempsville.
I know he's from the beach area.
Yeah. Brian Bursticker, another Virginia guy. Wow, we're talking college basketball here in short time. That should never
Let
happen.
off Matt Talk podcast,
Yeah.
Fargo edition.
Fargo with Round Ball. Well, I just wanted to correct it because growing up in the 757, everybody, Vic.
Well, what was the genesis of that tweet?
Curry, well, something about, like, Vic didn't start until his sophomore year because Iverson was the starter. No, I had to correct that for the record. Iverson went to Bethel and would have graduated in 93, but he got his GED in jail because Bethel won the state football and basketball title in 92. He would have been a senior in 93. Listen to this backcourt real quick. Then we'll get back on task with wrestling. Allen Iverson was in the same high school backcourt with Tony Rutland, who was all ACC at Wake Forest.
Yeah.
That's the same high school backcourt.
Yeah.
Tight.
That's insane.
Tight.
That was pre.
That was pre bowling alley brawl for Iverson.
Yeah, it was also pre. Let's just recruit to this small private school.
Yeah, that's a public school in Hampton, Virginia.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
There's some questions on whether Ronald Curry was legitimately a Hampton High School zoned guy. But anyway, can we get back to wrestling?
Yeah,
let's do that. Let's do that.
We didn't
even start with wrestling. So basically, our format of the show the other day, we didn't know what we were going to do, and we're kind of doing the same thing here. We know we're going to talk Fargo. We got 3 of the greatest minds in wrestling. We're going to collectively take Willie's nickname and share it. 3.5. We're getting taunted by our one fan.
We have one fan. His name is Michael Foca. He's Chris Foca's father, who probably had the match of the tournament with Dustin Plott.
That was incredible.
That was wild. Had to go for 2 at the end, and just
He rolled through and gave Plot 2. He was history.
couple touchdowns and anything. So one thing we did miss. We got to go back and throw an asterisk and a correction on episode 1 here is we totally missed the first day that Nash Hutmacher got beat in the first round.
Only the number 1 heavyweight in the country.
Yeah.
Number 1 heavyweight in the country, former champ at cadet level. I think he was 2nd or 3rd last year, right? He loses, and we're kind of just the whole arena's just kind of going on our business. And
do we even know what mat it was on? It's like on mat 27 in the parking lot or something.
And in fact, Flo, we tweeted, Kyle Bradkey tweeted a big move that Hutmacher hit against somebody later on.
Throw Bradkey under the bus.
And then we were like, wait a second, that says Concies. We're like, what? Nash Hutmacher lost. So,
Yeah, and he came back and won 10 in a row to take 3rd.
Yeah.
I think he had 1 decision. Everything else was a technical superiority.
Hey, it goes to show you, not only is winning Fargo tough, you have to beat a lot of good kids in a row. You got to run the gauntlet, but you also have to avoid disaster. You have to. You get thrown by one guy or caught by one guy that, let's be honest, you're much better than. but who still has ability to do something like that.
And I think it speaks to what we were talking about last show, where you said the 30th ranked guy in the country has the ability to beat
the
these
10.
top level
Yeah.
guys. And 10, 15, 20 years ago that didn't happen.
right.
But we saw it the other day, or we didn't see it the other day.
So there was what stood out to you the most today?
Oh man, I think it's we only saw one round of juniors today, so it's today the finals were good. I mean Moulton and Ja'Cason Burks was 17-16. I mean, are you kidding me?
Jason bringing up the ODU
I'm not
guy.
just saying it because Moulton went to Old Dominion, and he's the first junior national champion commit to Old Dominion since Justin Laval, but that was Greco, and Laval ended up wrestling at North Dakota State at the end of his career. But yeah,
about
I'm pretty
this.
pleased. As an ODU alum, I'm pretty pleased to see Moulton coming our way. Let's be clear.
That's one thing that stood out to me. Moulton was one of several graduating seniors that I thought upped their level. Anthony Moulton. Anthony Moulton had been as high as 8, and then he had some rough patches in there, and he at some points fell out of the rankings. But you take a guy like Anthony Moulton, he looked better than ever. Angelo Rini.
Man, phenomenal.
Never saw Angelo Rini look that good.
No.
Then Jason Chow.
Finally. How about finally?
Looked amazing.
That kid is I don't really know him. I shook his hand hey, I'm so, we follow each other on Twitter and whatnot, but it was it's like you watch a kid like that wrestle and everything finally get won the toughest bracket, in my opinion. Well-deserved OW. Has that great match with O'Toole yesterday. I mean, it's one of those, and great for Fresno State. That is a dynamic potential. It's a good cornerstone for your program. I mean, he wrestled phenomenal.
So I got a little stat from California.
Earl with stats.
3 champions:
Right.
Andre Gonzalez, Lou Chow, and Jonathan Smith. None of them won a state title this year.
That's awesome. Not
Smith.
for them, but.
Smith was the only guy that was in the finals. Gonzalez and Luchow were both third place finishers. Luchow never made a state final, and as kind of tailing off what you were saying about Luchow, I mean, this kid seems like he's at every tournament in the every off-season tournament.
Finally, he
placing third.
Finally, came
he's
through
and looking good at all of them placing. But he's at everything, and yeah, it is good to see him come through.
Yeah, there's some kids, and Willie, you deal with this all the time, doing more on the high school ranking side of things. There are kids you follow. We're supposed to be impartial and unbiased when we look at rankings and things like that. But there's naturally kids that you root for, and you're like, yeah, good job. And Luchow's one of those kids.
I said it on the call today at the very end when it was clear he was going to win. I said, I don't root for anybody. I never root for anybody, but I'm not sad to see Jace, who's been knocking on the door, finally get a major title. And, I think he stood out. A lot of the graduating seniors stood out, which I said on the last show, every graduating senior, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get to Fargo.
Well, because some guys are even they have the Dylan Wisman. The year he makes the finals, he was at Missouri in summer school, already working out, and training with his future college team. Came back and was Team Virginia. So I'd love for that to be more the case with some of these graduating seniors who feel like they have something to. They still feel like there's something there to get.
Did you see what? I mean, Anthony Moulton's getting ready to wrestle at the Division I level for Old Dominion. Don't you think this makes him more prepared for that? Abe Assad, best version of Abe Assad we've ever seen. Was today? Don't you think that prepares him more for Iowa than sitting around doing whatever? I don't know.
Betting on football.
And that weight class is full of guys who we probably think are going to be Division I All-Americans, 182.
As far as rankings go, almost perfect. Almost. I mean, it has to be one of the best weight classes ever. I mean, what was there, 8 to 10 or 9 to 10? The top 10 there?
Any of the top 8 could have won 195 if
Devin Winston lost in the first round. Former number one guy to Peyton Kraft, who didn't place. Unbelievable. So those stood out. The graduating seniors stood out. I think.
Wait. Say that again. Repeat that. Who didn't place what?
Devin Winston.
Okay.
Who was the highest last year? He was the highest placing non-graduate. Lost by Tech in the first round to Peyton Kraft. And Peyton Kraft didn't place.
Oofda.
So
It's a Minnesota word, by the way.
So, I mean, that weight and the graduating seniors were awesome. I thought, what were your thoughts on the heavyweight debacle? Heinzelman and Luffman. Luffman makes the finals. Ghost Point in there. Were you guys able to review that?
Oh, I heard about it, but I wasn't quite sure. I mean, like, it was one of those things I heard secondhand.
Inexplicable point put on the board.
Yeah,
and he wins by a point, right?
I was chasing down an interview at that point, so I didn't see exactly what was
I
going
just
on.
want something I found out. I was like, hey, did you hear about this? I'm like, well, I mean, because there's 25 mats going on. There's all sorts of craziness. I mean, we had the one unfortunate incident a couple of days ago. We don't want to draw any attention to that, but there's all sorts of things that are happening in a 25 mat circus, things like that. And then you hear about it, you're like, wait, what? I mean, we're watching everything we can, and we still miss stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's not like Nash Hutmacher getting decked, but
so I mean,
yeah.
What happened was
there I was in Fargo.
Heinzelman's leading 2-1. They give an attention to Heinzelman. Come on, action, right?
Attention bleu.
The scorekeeper, I don't know what they, she, he, whoever was the scorekeeper hit, the clock operator. I don't know what they hit, but it put a point on the board for Luffman, which was never, ever corrected. Never
Weird.
corrected. So, that was odd and unfortunate. And
Mia Macaluso just got beat.
Mia Macaluso.
Right there on our
champion
mat.
Cadets.
Yeah, I'm looking at 127 pounds. By the way, the largest bracket for the girls, 63, junior women. 594 entries. Another record.
That was one, I think everybody should go back and look at that match and see how that went. Another thing I think was Echemendia was a huge story.
Yeah, I just pulled up a tweet. What do you got on a birth date on that? Is that legit?
I saw a passport and a birth certificate.
In Fargo.
The coach had him. Sunnyside coach had him with him.
I think somebody did. Will Johnson did bring up the point. Is CP outraged that he's training at Sunnyside?
Is he outraged that he's going to wrestle for the United States of America? He's going to WCAT.
Yep.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
yeah.
And he's going to Penn State.
He's Cuban, in case you're wondering where we're getting at.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the story. He's Cuban. Nobody knows who he is. He knocks off, I forget who, but I will look it up right now. He knocks off somebody really good in round 1 or 2.
And while you're looking that up, I was reading up on him. It said he came to this country in last August after going to a tournament in Guatemala.
After his 31st birthday.
And then he
Good
won
thing he's not mic'd.
Arizona State title for Sunnyside High School this year
So-
at 152.
Second round, he beats Derek Fields, who's ranked 7th and had an amazing Akron and committed to NC State. And so Derek Fields goes down, and everybody goes scrambling to find out who this Anthony Echemendia is. One-time state champ for Arizona because he only wrestled one time, 22-0 this year for Sunnyside. Same school as Roman Bravo.
And probably wrestling folk style for the first time in his life,
right.
too. Winning a state title, and wrestling in a style you've never done before.
So then, at which point, people started coming up to me and saying, hey, I'm just walking around. And people say to me, hey, you hear about the kid from Arizona? There's no way he's junior level age, right? There's no way. You can't be of age. Hey, you can't be of age. He's from Cuba. He must be too old. So I don't know.
Need a birth certificate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like looking for Julio Franco's birth certificate by any means. Throwing a baseball reference over there for Earl.
And
So-
Benito Santiago.
Wow. Wow, digging that one up. Even though Willie just dug that
And
up earlier
I
today.
said it on the call. I said it on the finals. I'm like, everybody's saying he must be too old. Who knows if he's too old? I don't know. Can you find a birth certificate? Cubans don't have birth certificates often. That's not shade. That's facts. I mean, baseball, and I said this too on there. Baseball, Major League Baseball teams don't know whether to offer another contract to a guy because they don't know if he's 29 or 42. They don't know. Right? So, El Duque, I think, was 65 when...
You know how old he is? He's 206.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's not shade to this young man who had an amazing tournament. He looked awesome. He beat Derek Fields, who was ranked 7th. He beat Luke Odom, who was a returning AA and ranked 20th. He beat Chase Warden, who's ranked about 15th. He beat Chance McClain, a kid going to Oklahoma State. And he beat Victor Vojnovic, who's ranked 2nd in the country. So, the kid did the dang thing. And the Sunnyside coaches, after the finals, said, "Man, I can't believe you were saying those things on the broadcast." I said, "What exactly did I say that anybody wasn't thinking?"
I mean, you've
I
never
did-
had that. That's never been a shortcoming of yours.
No, it has not. I did not say he was too old. I said everybody's telling me he's too old. Maybe it's stereotypical. Cubans are too old. They don't have birth certificates. That's what I said. I didn't say he was too old. He showed me the birth certificate. He showed me the passport. And he says that it was all vetted through the State Association and USA Wrestling. He's in good graces. He said it was investigated by Interpol.
Funny that he had it with him.
I thought Interpol was European.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I've seen too many Jason Bourne movies not to know what Interpol is, but
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is the guy's supposedly been thoroughly vetted and is in the clear, and as such, I think
so WCAP's getting a good one's what you're saying.
WCAP's getting a good one. So
A long
obviously, if
answer
he's
to a
going
short
in,
question.
If he's going in WCAP, that means he's going to become a citizen. If he's going to WCAP, that means he's going to be a patriot for our country.
Good job. Good job, Ildar.
And he's going to train at Penn State. And by the way, that does not mean he's wrestling for Penn State. That doesn't mean he's wrestling folk style. But he's going to train out of Penn State.
Interesting. Earl, you were alluding to some stuff you had before we left about, I've got some stats. I got some nuggets, and he was saving them. He wasn't telling me what they are. What else you got for us, Earl?
Yeah, so I had that California one, and I'd love to see the last time, you'd had a state with 3 kids winning a national championship, none of which were state champions that year.
I think the only categories are probably in one-class states. I
Yeah.
think Jersey and California are probably your 2 best options.
So, name the only repeat champion from last year.
The only repeat champion from last year was Luff.
There you go. I mean, I think it's pretty crazy.
I was actually doing an interview during that match, so I didn't even know who won the heavyweight. I just knew it was from Illinois. By the way, didn't you get a flow alert from Luffman?
I did, yes, and I responded to it as any good citizen should.
Yeah, I woke up today. Not woke up. I got to the arena today, and I received the responses to the Flow Arena alerts, and several rang untrue. Let me see if I can pull them up. You guys carry the conversation.
Okay,
on.
so so Luffman
Earl, you did apparently contribute to the flow alert replies.
apparently,
Apparently.
The
The question is which one Willie's going to try to figure out which ones you sent.
The only one he sent to me was actually the one I did not send. So he was questioning whether I sent one. I did not do it.
Got Boblet's up there wrestling. She's a scrapper.
I believe, yeah, she's a number 1 seed at 152. So, yeah, now Illinois has won the heavyweight title the past 3 years with Cassiope taking 2 in a row and Luffman. But I think it's pretty crazy that we only had one returning junior champion.
Wow, yeah.
We also had...
And there were multiple junior champions returning in the field.
Yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
it was the only one coming back.
132 pounds, we had a rematch of last year's cadet finals.
Yep. Dominic
with-
Serrano. He is so good.
And there was only
He's
one
spicy.
major league reference between Jason and I.
We're not all savages like Serrano over there.
Back-to-back guys I thought looked really good for Nebraska with Serrano and Lovett. Lovett lost, but I thought he looked really solid.
9-time All-American now. Ridge
So,
Lovett is now placed here 9 times now. I'm assuming he's going to go Greco because he's from Idaho and he's wrestled really good in Greco his entire life. He would be joining a very exclusive group of 10-time or more All-Americans at this
Ballpark.
tournament.
How many are there?
You know what? It was a tweet. I've got the tweet. I'll pull it up. Talk amongst yourself. Carry the conversation.
I
I'll
got
look
the
up the
text
stat.
messages. I got the responses. So I got responses today that said, Nomad will miss finals today. He told me he's meeting a hot coach from Team Mississippi.
That's actually really funny. That's
then-
really funny for 3 different reasons.
Yeah, for multiple
2 of
reasons.
you guys know.
One, Mississippi doesn't have a team. 2, Nomad finds
He
like
embraces
Tinder
the local.
dates.
He embraces the local culture.
he
Let's
finds
just give it
Tinder
that.
dates on like every city we go to. Here's one.
Well, we will neither confirm nor deny said allegation. This is a family. No, it's not.
Actually, Willie will.
Thanks. I text Craig Sesker to let him know to watch. If you get that reference, that's a real zinger. Craig Sesker once said that, what was the event?
Oh, it was the Oklahoma State dual meet.
Oh, yeah, Oklahoma State,
Iowa.
Oklahoma State, Iowa. It was on Flow Wrestling. Craig Sesker once famously wrote in a column. Didn't tweet it. Put it on wax and said, Iowa State Iowa and Oklahoma State are wrestling a dual meet. I didn't even know about it because it was on Flow. I had somebody text me that it was going on. Doesn't sound like a Flow problem, Craig. Sounds like a you problem. It also,
That's not an MP. That's a YP, not an MP.
it also sounds like a flat-out lie. Because if you're telling me that you write for a wrestling website and you didn't know Oklahoma State, Iowa was happening, you're either lying or you should just quit.
Okay, so unrelated to that, but related to the previous question, I do have the answer. If he places in Greco, if he wrestles and places in Greco, he will be the 10th. So, the 10-timers, there have only been 3 people that have placed 11 times, back when the tournaments were separate, and you have to be at least in 9th grade to wrestle cadets. So you could double up both times. It's weird how the old days, David Keldegard, Brandon Paulson,
All-timer.
Cody Sanderson, 11-time All-Americans.
That's it? Oh, 11.
10-timers. Jack Jessen, Zach Sanders, Scott Schatzman, T.J. Hill.
Scott Schatzman, Northwestern? Did he go to
Northwestern, Missouri guy, yeah.
Yep.
T.J. Hill, Sammy
I
Colbray,
always wanted to wrestle TJ Hill.
and Brad Pataki. So Ridge Lovett would be the 10th.
He would be the 10th.
He is
10th
already the 15th 9-timer.
How many Metcalf have?
8.
Okay, so how many titles? 8?
That's also. That's. Oh, by the way, that's in FargoAlmanac.com. You've
Which
got the
y'all
book,
need to
Earl.
get.
Page 40.
Jack Jackson from Northwestern.
Yeah. No, the Illinois kid, yeah. Where is Jessen? Is he at Northwestern?
Jackson.
Yeah, Northwestern.
Chris was beating him 10-2.
I think it's page 40, Earl. 39 or 40 in the Almanac. So, is it there?
All right, what are we looking for from Metcalf?
Total titles.
6.
6 titles.
Both styles.
Both styles, yeah.
Metcalf has 6?
Yeah.
And Jason Powell.
Well, there's the list of the most champs. We also have a
Okay.
trivia question. We'll wait till Willie gets back from refilling his beverage.
Okay, I misspoke. There's a lot of stuff here. Metcalf has 7 titles total, cadet and junior combined.
7 titles.
6 junior titles.
6 junior titles.
And his friend Jason Powell has 6.
Okay.
Cadet and junior combined.
There was a great story. One time, me and Johnny Hendricks went noodling. That was Jason Powell. One time, me and Johnny Hendricks went noodling. Jason Powell always gets brought up because he was the only guy to lose to a Team Virginia guy at the 99 Dream Team Classic.
Heck yeah, I'm still missing my VHS tape of that in case anyone has it. It's great. Dual Meet has Tommy Rollins, Damian
Oh
Hahn.
my goodness. Okay. Side note: that was the '99 Dream Team Classic was the first year I came out here. Damian Hahn and Jason Potter.
Justin Jordan.
No. Jason Potter went to Fairfax High School. Justin Potter was Illinois. Okay, Potter and Hahn were both on the Dream Team. They met in the Fargo Finals that year.
Okay.
So that's where I was getting at with that. T.R. Foley famously wrestled in that duel.
How'd he do?
He wrestled Clark forward. It did not end well.
Or long?
No, it was. He didn't get decked. It was a tech fall.
No, I'm thinking of state finals versus Matt.
Why are you
Gallagher.
throwing
No.
shade on TR?
I'm not. I'm just saying that '99. It goes back to Jason Powell. Mike Akers beat Jason Powell. That's what I was getting at. It all comes back to Picosa.
It doesn't.
So anyway, where were we? We were getting back on topic somehow.
We got off topic.
We got the
talking about
any other replies, any other text replies that were good because I think right now the Sesker one wins.
One said, thanks for the text. I was in the bathroom dropping a deuce. I almost missed the entire match. It was a long and arduous task.
Gee, I wonder who did that one too. I will say I had nothing to do with any of these.
Creed is the greatest band of the 90s, maybe all time. Don't at me, Spay.
By the way, can we revoke that person's flow account?
No, that
Earl.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
I'll
that's the
I'll
thing.
take that one to the grave.
I'm sitting there thinking that you're trying to play the fact that these aren't you.
Oh yeah,
We missed that? Did I miss that?
Whoever did that.
Whoever did that.
Yeah, but on a side note, I like Creed, and I'm not going to apologize.
I'm turning. You know what? I can pull a Piles here. I can turn off your microphone.
How about this one? I wasn't sure if Earl sent this one or not, but it was not him. But he said, Roberts lost, Ed Scott lost, Hall is chasing chicks at WVU, whose number one is all jacked up. Was not Earl.
No, definitely not.
What else you got? What else today
Yeah, we got some stats.
in the final? Yeah, give us some stats.
You do that, I gotta get a beer.
We had back-to-back champions at 113 for Iowa.
Yeah.
Who was that last year?
What's that?
Who was Iowa's champion at 113
Last
last
year?
year?
Oh, okay. So we had back-to-back champs at 113 pounds, both Iowa the last 2 years.
There you go.
Ayala and Shriver.
There you go. And I want to get your opinion. I know you have your big board. You know, you analyze this stuff, super hardcore. Patty Gallagher, I mean, where is he in the class of 2021?
Well, so Patty was an interesting case because, I mean, he's got to be right near the top. Right at the top, near the top. Because
absolutely.
When doing the big board, okay, first of all, when doing the big board, you got to think, what's there room for growth, And Patty's a holdback. He's a little bit older. I mean, he is a kid that's just going to his junior year, but he's already a Fargo junior, right? So you're like, does he really have much more growth potential as far as, not growth physically, but in his game? So you think about that. You think about, okay, what's Patty's really shining moment?
It definitely
Patty's-
wasn't the moment that he killed Patches O'Houlihan in dodgeball.
But-
Wrong Patty, sorry.
So
Little
this was
irony
my
there.
thought going into the season. Patty's a little old for his grade. What's his shining moment? His shining moment is giving Facundo a good match. Those were my two thoughts coming into the season on Patty Gallagher. Then we go to Iron Man. He doesn't wrestle because he's hurt. Then we go to who's number... Oh, okay. First of all, we go to Fargo. He doesn't wrestle. I don't know why. He didn't wrestle. Go to Iron Man. He doesn't wrestle because he's hurt. Who's number one duels? They're supposed to wrestle Blair. Have a premiere match up there. He doesn't wrestle because he's hurt. I thought, man, I don't know. I don't even know what this kid is. I don't know how good he is. He gave Facundo a good match once. Neat, right? I don't know what that means. Then he does what he does here. No. First, he goes to the state tournament. He beat Super 32 champion Connor Brady, and it wasn't close. Okay, now we're back talking. And then he did what he did here, and you're thinking, Patty Gallagher's a damn beast.
So. Yeah, he's Liam's nephew, right?
Yes, we confirmed that.
Suck it, Spay.
Second best band of the 90s.
False. Oasis blows.
They were named Gallagher's, weren't they?
Yeah. Wow, you are late to the party.
I just caught on.
The Oasis has one good song ever, and it was the opening sequence of the fight scene in Snatch. Yeah, that's actually an Oasis song. We actually came out to that at Old Dominion matches when I was announcing. So anyway, back to the actual wrestling chatter. I'm just here for lame cut-ins like, whatever. Earl, any more stats? Or have we moved on to the Patches O'Houlihan? Excuse me, Patty Gallagher.
Yeah, I really enjoyed from 106 to 126, just points. I said to Jason, one of the matches, hey, folk style's better because he would have just taken him down and ridden him
because
for
I
the
looked
whole
up.
period.
I looked up. I was like, man, this. I can't remember. It was like 8-7 in the first period. I'm like, wait, is this still the first period? It was a long period. It seemed like, but it was like 15 points on the board.
So
I saw a match with 50 points. I saw a 29-22 match yesterday.
I forget what his actual title is, but Ryan Johnson from USA Wrestling, who handles
he's like corporate partnerships and things like
corporate
that.
partnerships.
He used to be a coordinator like me.
Marketing and stuff like that, and sponsorship deals and stuff like that. He comes to me before the final starts, and he says, hey, we'd like to have a U.S. Marine representative join you for a few minutes on the broadcast. Great. Send him over, give us a match or two before so we can get into it. Me and Nomad can get into it. Maybe come, 3 or 4 matches in. Well, Colonel Fallon is his name, who's awesome. He was also at the U.S. Open. Really loves wrestling. He's not just here to.
It's not just a sponsorship thing,
right? He's not just pounding his chest about the Marines, and sometimes corporate sponsorships, sometimes representatives are like that, right? I'm here because I have to. I don't want to be fun, right? But he's a real wrestling fan, and so he comes on, and it was great. But Moulton and Burks were putting up so many points that I'm trying to kind of talk to him about the Marines and stuff like that.
Without people screaming, going, talk about the match.
Right, and there's so many points being put on the board, so it was...
That was definitely that was such a back and forth swing too. It was like Moulton's up 6-0, and then all of a sudden he's down because his parterre defense wasn't really that great, and then hits a badass little inside trip, gets 4 out of it, and then there was a good challenge, and then all this is while you're trying to get the Marine guy on.
Yeah,
the thing is, there wasn't even a slow point in the. The slowest match was probably at heavyweight.
I know.
By the way, Dylan Morrison chiming in on Twitter asking, will Nomad now take his next vacation to Mississippi?
That's right. That's right. Do you remember? Because I missed the show. I don't know where I was. I was traveling somewhere, but
State of confusion, because this is the world we live in.
From February 15th. From February 15th to now, I have not stopped traveling. In fact, when Fargo was over, I counted 29 days, I think. 29 of the last 41 days I will have spent in a hotel room. Wicked. But
beats having to make your own bed.
I was somewhere traveling. I think it might have been that Sassari tournament, but I'm not sure. And the boys were talking about Nomad went on vacation. Guess where he went? And I'm listening live, and I'm like, I can guarantee you I know where he went. Somewhere in Ohio, because he met a girl on Tinder during Akron. Sure enough.
So that's the theory, that it's somewhere in Ohio.
I'm not only the greatest mind in wrestling, I'm the greatest mind in Nomad.
You know what? I don't think anybody's going to challenge you for that
Scary
title.
proposition.
that is you were at a very elite fraternity of one, I think, there with that proclamation.
Could I say greatest mind in dating apps? Probably not.
I'm going to remove myself from any discussion here further because I've been married 9 years. Earl, how many years you been married now?
9, yeah.
9 years.
So I actually had to have game to get girls when I was younger.
Each other?
Well, not there's anything wrong with that, but no. Yeah. There's a run on portly journalists from Virginia.
There is.
2010 was a very good year for that.
Damn right.
What else we got?
Well, one thing is talking about the. Actually, it's funny because Ryan Johnson, as we bring up coordinator, Northern Colorado graduate. So we'll
Hey,
throw some little love out there for the Bears.
I have one for you.
What's that?
Stat man. This is going to be really hard. This is a really difficult task.
Okay.
I'm going to go on record and say, I don't think you can do it.
Okay.
Oh,
This is a challenge.
challenge.
You realize this is how the Fargo Almanac got started? Was constantly being challenged to find stuff.
Actually, I know you can do it. I know you can do it, but it's not going to be easy.
Okay.
How many times, or has it ever happened, that Wrestler A beat Wrestler B in Fargo Finals, and then the very next year, that same thing happened?
I was wondering about that too.
Has there ever been, regardless of age group or style?
Regardless,
So we're going to the
Dom Serrano beat Mick Burnett.
Serrano and Mick, yeah.
Yep.
Now, it's not impossible, but here's the thing: you have to be able to. The way you have to export the data is you have to look at it. So you're looking for. I mean, it's weird because you're gonna have to. You almost have to eyeball it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's
but
not
no,
really
no.
a report you can run with data. Match 1 and match 2.
No,
match
all you
them
have to
up.
do. I'm not saying all you have to do.
You realize there are 19,000 names in that All-American
No.
database.
I'm not talking about. It doesn't matter. All Americans. Right. You start with 2-timers.
Right. Well, that's a good point. You start with 2 times. Well, no, the exact same result. So you're looking at the exact same result.
Exact same result.
Okay, so we've got 49 years
Of 2-timers.
of data,
Right.
and we're also looking at 49 years of
If you don't
junior
have
freestyle.
the Fargo Almanac, or for that matter, the NCAA preview guide that Jason puts out, you're playing yourselves because it can serve in many ways. First of all, you're going to digest it going into NCAAs every year. When Fargo comes up, you're going to pour over it like nostalgia. One of my favorite things about Hershey, before I got into the media, when I would just go out there and just have a good old time and drink some beers and hang
So
out
you're
with
a
my
journalist?
friends. I'm
You're
not
a
a
journalist?
Some people say.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, it's like.
But when I would just go to Hershey, I mean, one of the coolest things was to sit we would rent a house, to sit in the house with a bunch of buddies that just love wrestling, or to sit at Parkside and go through Tom Elling's history.
Oh man, yeah.
Tom Elling's history of the Pennsylvania State Tournament. How many times has there been a 4-timer? How many times has a guy never won a state title and been a runner-up? Stuff like that.
I think you want to talk about a guy that is, and that's one thing I'm glad you brought Tom's name up because he's been a name. He's not, he's old. He was an original Lockhaven guy, like way back, and guys like him are the reason guys like us can do what we do because they blazed the trail long before the internet and doing things with photography, with documentation, like Brakeman in Ohio, same basic concept. But Tom Elling, glad you brought Tom up. Great guy too.
Yeah, but it's guys being dude stuff, right? Like when you're at the state tournament
and you're arguing over the result because
and you say,
no, it was this.
You get a few beers in you and say, no, he beat him 4-3. No, I swear to God, it was 5-4 because this. All right, let's look it up.
Yeah,
it was 83 semis or something, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was from Erie Cathedral. He was
right. So you do that stuff, but what I'm getting at is Jason's Fargo Almanac for hardcore high school fans, for hardcore freestyle Greco fans. Everything you need to know.
And I'm a glutton for punishment too because I do not have the actual results in there yet. I have all the place winners and they're sorted in reports. So the one thing I added last year to it was a state-by-state breakdown because that was a question I got a lot from state leaders. Hey, do you know how many All-Americans we have? And here's one thing: the state leaders, when they ask me for that information, I'll give it to their USA chapter. But key thing is I also made 2 things. One, I made it easier this year. FargoAlmanac.com takes you right to the sales page, just like WrestlingPreviewGuide.com with the NCAA Championship Guide. But there's that. And you buy it for $20. It's a digital download. You get free updates for life. I'm not going to charge you $20 every year for results that you could just go on to Flow Arena and looked up. I redo it. There's things you update the stats and stuff, but $20 one time. And it's, I update it probably. I'll probably do it probably a month or two after Fargo because I'll have a hangover, get ready for not that type of hangover, but the stats hangover. A lot of stuff we got to do before World Championships. But it's one of the better things I think I've ever offered to the wrestling community is because it took me 3 years of actual research to find all the All-Americans, and then there's names that have been corrected, states like, 1 year I accidentally fat-fingered one of the Trezinos, and I put Iowa because they wrestled in college at Iowa, but they were from Illinois, somebody from the 80s and stuff. So there's less corrections now than there were in the first 2 years. But again, $20, you buy it one time, you get free digital updates for life.
And I'm sitting next to Jason on press row, and I don't know how many times over this 4 days I've seen it in action where someone just wanders up and is like, "Hey, Jason,
Nomad did it twice today."
Oh yeah, Nomad did it twice today. When was the last time our state had 4 All-Americans, or when did the last time we won a title, or
what was Missouri's best finish in the last 10 years?
And then Jason just right away, boop, 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 pops it up.
And the thing is, I also have, and this, pardon the sales pitch, one more sales pitch with it. The guide is a one-time purchase. Now, if you're a patron of the network, of the Mad Dog Podcast Network at the $10 a month or higher, you actually get a digital login for my Almanac website, which is basically like a sandbox of research. I have so many lists. That includes all the D1, D2, D3, NAI, Junior College All-Americans, NCAA All-Americans, Women's College Wrestling All-Americans, NAI Women's All-Americans, Midlands Place winners, Southern Scuffle Place winners. Like, all that stuff is there. And I'm not selling the data, but if you contribute to the network, you get access to basically what is my personal sandbox.
Willie ignores like 90% of that stuff.
Because he just texts me when he wants an answer. He doesn't need to look it up.
Listen, guys, I started the plug.
Yes, he did.
I started this plug. This isn't Jason plugging his plug. This is Willie plugging Jason's something. This is really bad. Let's end it.
Greatest
right
mind
there.
in wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. The worst wordsmith in wrestling.
Let's end it right there. Because did anybody see Park Hill's Twitter or the runner-up at 126, Ethan Miller?
Yes.
Did you see the Twitter?
The picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty
What
good.
happened? What'd I miss?
He has no teeth in the front. 0 teeth. His front 2 teeth. Open gate, bud. Looks like a hockey player.
Looks like my 6-year-old son.
I'm
Must
just going to let you
have happened
guys
here.
hang yourself on that one. I'm just going to stay back here.
Such
Yeah.
as Fargo. I mean, stuff like that happen. I mean, remember?
Oh, they get knocked. Did they get knocked out here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Remember
get it.
Bo Olsen's eye last
Ooh,
year?
I might have a picture of that on my phone.
Oh,
still.
yeah, that was
Bo
gnarly.
Olsen's eye was wicked.
That was gnarly. I will always remember. It wasn't
what
an
you're gonna
injury, but it was Elijah Oliver when he was wrestling for Tennessee.
Yeah.
He had his cauliflower ear basically blow up. And it was I was doing the interviews that year, and with the champs, and it was just like, that thing is gnarly.
Elijah Oliver was sitting right there about 20 minutes ago.
Because then he moved to Illinois his senior year.
Elijah Oliver won the title for Tennessee.
Yeah.
But was from Alabama, but then moved to
Well,
Illinois.
he listed Alabaster, Alabama on his Indiana bio, I think his freshman year at Nationals, because he was the only guy listed as an Alabama NCAA qualifier. I remember Willie on FR going, he's not from Alabaster, Alabama. The next year he updated it to like Washington, Illinois, or wherever he ended up his senior year.
Yeah, so...
Mark
but
Hall from Apple Valley, Minnesota, for all intents and purposes.
I remember...
Contrary to Willie's stats.
I forget. It might have been Jordan Burroughs' first world title. His ear exploded in like a semi.
Yeah, it was against the Azerbaijan, the Azeri guy. Because we were worried about him. The doctor
Hassanov?
maybe
Was it Hassanov at that time?
No, he wasn't there yet. It was another guy. But we were worried that the foreign doctor was going to disqualify Jordan because of the bleeding.
Yeah.
But Bernie Feldman was on top. Like, it was like, okay, are they looking to get rid of Jordan any way they could? Of course, that was us being very, very pro-American, paranoid conspiracy theory.
Yeah. So
because it was like a chop, and it literally exploded which is probably, it's like physically impossible, but it happened.
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say it's probably Ashraf Aliyev.
That sounds about right. Aliyev, it's
Yeah.
like Smith in Azerbaijan.
So he's probably a good-looking
But it
guy,
was- okay.
smart.
So where were we at? Oh, Bo Olsen's eye.
Cauliflower ears,
Cal Miller,
teeth knocked out.
Ethan Miller's teeth.
We did mention Julia Salata dislocating her elbow on the previous show. That was kind of gross, but that was not at Fargo.
There's been some wicked ones.
Yeah, there were some good.
Remember when Sarah Hildebrand?
That was at the
the
Open,
Open?
though.
That
I
was-
wasn't there that year.
Yeah, but sometimes you see that stuff live, man.
Oh, yeah.
Not cool.
It's like when you hear, don't look at it. I remember Julia dislocated. They're like, don't look at it. She turned and looked like, oh, my God. Oh, it was so bad. That was in Oklahoma City. That's
You know what?
That's when I hated Jersey Mike's, because Jersey Mike's gave me dysentery that weekend.
That's bad. We don't want to
My
hear
son
about
works at
dysentery.
Jersey Mike's.
I don't want to hear about that either.
I was at a Nebraska duel one time.
Where's this going to go?
That has nothing to do with bowel movements.
Okay, good. Because you told me about a burrito
It's
paste in
about-
Lincoln.
It might have been Spates and Schufelt. Rudy Schufelt used to always wrestle. He always used to wrestle somebody. But anyway, it was on a holiday too. It was like Thanksgiving or something. I don't know. But Travis Schufelt let out a screeching screech, and you couldn't really tell what was going on. And then he rolled over, and his arm from his elbow down was just it was a noodle. It was going the wrong direction. So wrestling offense.
I got an interesting
Wicked,
tweet coming out
wicked.
here. Willie, you're getting suggestions for who's number one. This one from one of the 5,000 Olenowskis. Christian, I'd pay Flow Wrestling the $20 a month that I already do to watch the Braxton Amos versus at Mr. Fast Twitch, AJ Ferrari at who's number one.
Christian Olenowski did that.
Yeah. What do you think? Amos Ferrari, who's number one? Can you make that happen?
I love.
Is that a
Olenowski.
catch weight or is that?
No, they're both going to be 95 this year. I tried to get that. I mean, that's going to happen. That's already in the works. But
Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, Peter
Sorry,
Gabriel's
the song.
yeah. Peter Gabriel's definitely on the
Yeah.
PA system.
He placed in Fargo twice.
Ferrari,
Wrong
Amos
organization.
will happen, provided Ferrari's healthy. Ferrari had a surgery. I actually asked AJ. I texted AJ about 2 weeks ago. I said, AJ, how about this? You wrestle Braxton Amos at the Dake Ringer Wrestle-Off.
Ooh.
And he's like, man, I ain't cleared to wrestle live quite yet.
Yeah, well, you got the same doctor as Kyle Dake.
That's right.
By the way, I saw a Twitter
That is
account
a-
today.
yeah,
It was
that's a
Kyle
Twitter
Dake's proctologist on Twitter. By the way, real quick, we need to institute a rule for those of you that want to create Twitter accounts based on FRL episodes.
Seriously.
You must
This
be
is a
at least
public service announcement.
public
that needs
service
to happen.
announcement. And I have no stake in FRL ever. The only appearance I've made on FRL was last year in Fargo. Willie's doing it here. I popped into the background and left. That's the only time I've ever made a show on FRL. So I have no skin in the game here. No skin in the game. I don't work for Flow Wrestling. So, fans, if you want to create a troll or a foe or a parody account based on anything from the Kyle Brackey, KBDR, whatever the heck it actually stands for, to Dake's doctor's note or Dake's proctologist or Dake's optometrist or whatever.
No, there is really an account called Dick's Proctology.
Yeah, I saw it today. He liked one of my tweets. That's how I found it. I'm like, what? No, I don't follow you. Sorry. But you, one, have to be witty, because if you're not witty, you just suck at the Twitter parody game. Two, Willie, this goes back to one of Willie's callbacks. Like, you can't be tweeting about, like, Husker football. And on the, you've got to maintain this is where UWW Creative might be the best wrestling troll account ever.
I mean,
they never deviate from their mission ever.
And
it's
UWW
brilliant.
Creative is good. I would say it's good, not great.
They
the bar is set
maintained
where
the shtick.
the bar is set at stick to the script.
Yeah, stick to the script. I mean, Pinfall Bryant never varied from that. Earl, we're talking about the parody account I had for a couple years ago. They were tweeting the relative humidity in New Brighton. Okay, that's
funny.
That's funny.
That's funny,
That's
dude.
absolutely funny. I mean, they didn't get into discussions about what their personal or the Cubs, how the Cubs were doing,
Or OU football.
I tell you what.
yeah, or OU football.
I'm pretty sure that I was Pinfall Bryant's first follower, and I don't get into
No,
this
you
stuff.
weren't. Here's why. Because somebody very close to me, I have never figured out
I was
who it is.
I was one
Wink,
of the
wink,
first
nudge,
ones.
nudge. Well, I had actually mentioned this to Earl as we're walking out. I was on my phone, and I got a notification that one of my contacts has joined Twitter as Pinfall Bryant. I'm like,
So it was your friend.
it's somebody I know.
Oh my god.
So that's the
Maybe-
thing. They
maybe
were
it
in
was-
my email.
Maybe it was Pinfall Bryant was. Maybe I was Pinfall Bryant's first follower or something like that. I
That
don't
would be
know.
logical because they did hit close to the vest because they had the picture of the turf burnt down, knowing it was. I mean, that was their background.
Yeah!
It was
I forgot about
the
that.
Photoshop was me as the moderator that Medicine Man had done during the Jijiti Photoshop tournament. Like they did some digging.
What?
So that was like again, that's a quality parody account. You can't be like Diggs Doctor's Note. I'm putting you on blast. You suck at that account. Okay. Get with it or give it up to somebody more creative.
There's so many.
Wow.
I said.
That's only a beer and a half talking right now.
I have a goal every FRL to say something unique enough to get
Mango Johnson,
at
Twitter
least
account
one
started. Yeah.
new Twitter account started. However, the problem with that is
But as a listener, I'm refreshing every time you guys say it to see how long it takes.
I saw
it's
one
usually
time-
5 minutes.
I know you do this because one time I think
'Cause
you
he
might be
starts them.
Mango Johnson's first follower.
I remember I followed Mango Johnson immediately as soon as the account came up.
That's what I was saying. I think you were his first follower.
I was like, "Yep, I'm following that one." And normally I don't follow the troll, the
Here's
parody
the problem,
accounts because
though.
I don't need to.
I love when new accounts are made based on media, like based on podcasts or something. Or it's great, but y'all don't never follow through.
Yeah, it's a
tweet-
2-week thing, and then
you
you
tweet,
die.
funny.
you tweet
Yeah.
from it for 2 weeks.
This is
or
where
you
UWW Creative has
eventually-
the long play.
You eventually expose yourself in some kind of way, like
You don't.
you start retweeting all Michigan football stuff, or you say, this is BS. Hayden Hidley had that too on Nolf or something. Okay, obviously you're deviating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kevin
it's,
Durant
it's
stuff.
a shtick. You gotta stick to it. Like Faux Pelini, for example, is not retweeting stuff about his fandom
Right,
of
it
like
doesn't-
the Chicago White Sox. Or,
Right. Yes. Right.
No, Faux Pelini is like the greatest parody account of all time. What do you think?
I mean,
It's up
I don't.
there.
I don't have a thorough list of all-time best parody accounts, but Faux Pelini's up there. So is Barry.
What's the best parody troll Willie account that you've seen? The one that
the
Dude,
best
they-
name or the best account?
well, the best. The one,
No,
the
they all
people
suck.
that, yeah, they mostly do. Yeah,
I mean, all
I don't
of them.
think.
I don't
yeah,
even
you
know there's
I don't
just
think
anyone still that.
because they go for about 3 days and then that's it.
Or they don't
Yeah.
even, they just create the account. And
It's like
don't tweet.
WILLLE at Flow. It's like just,
It either has a avatar of Uncle Fester or Danny DeVito from
or Gru from Despicable
or
Me.
Gru,
Yeah.
right? There's three that they always go to.
I have
Very,
to say that because Despicable Me and Minions has been on a loop on my
Very
house for the last 3
original.
years.
Or Gout 2. Or,
Hey! You know what? Little known fact: I also suffer from gout. So, me and Willie are not. We're kindred spirits here, and I got it.
yeah. How many are those? There's like at least 3 Willie Gout's foot related.
I haven't had a flare up in about 6 years. So,
You take some pill?
no, I just changed my diet.
Fuck.
Excuse me, I altered my diet.
You didn't alter. You drink beer like a frat brother.
No, I don't.
He has
I
none of-
only do it in Fargo. I
how
drink
many
more.
beers-
I drink more this week than I do the entire year combined.
how many beers are on your little app thing?
Okay, I have had
Mike
620.
Folk is saying milk thistle.
I had
Listen,
had
I'm not milk thistling it.
no
I got
black cherry extract's what I take as a supplement.
I chugged black cherry extract. Didn't help. I took one pill.
No, it doesn't go away overnight.
They prescribed one pill I take it every morning.
It's like, was it that colchicetadine thing that gives you the
drink
gives you the
Budweiser
shits?
like it's going out of style, and I eat freaking steaks like it doesn't stop.
You have to swallow the pill, Willie.
Yeah.
You don't.
I take. Listen, I'm glorious.
I found
I
out.
drink Budweiser and eat steaks.
Oh,
every day.
okay. So here's the
I'm fine.
Well, the thing is, I don't. If I'm going to eat seafood, I'm not drinking beer because I love me some shrimp. You know me. Me and
That's what
Willie.
I'm saying.
Me and Willie also have a thing for shrimp and grits.
Do you know the time that
It hit my knee one time in Akron when I worked at USA Wrestling. That sucked.
dude, it hit my knee.
You just can't move it. You feel like a complete wuss because
An invalid.
the weight of a sheet hurts on your foot. Oh, it hurts like hell.
It hurts like hell.
It's so
2 days
painful.
before Beat the Streets, I have a picture of it. I had to have it drained.
Yeah, I've never had mine drained, but it's been.
They
Yeah,
put
'cause it's
they
fluid.
put a needle the size of a caulk gun in my knee, and they pulled out
A what
freaking
gun?
Opaque Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant thing. And I got it because I was in college for 7 years, and then I did drink like a frat brother. There's a couple things I was
Here's the
running.
worst.
I was running the website,
This is
working
a
a
whole
newspaper,
segment on
and doing a
freaking
web
gout.
doing the wrestling
Doing a whole
stuff.
segment
I wasn't
on
going to class.
I mean,
You
I'm
know-
sorry.
You know where it killed? You know where it killed? You know where it just shut me down? It started the death of Willie.
Moving.
I was at NHSCA's, and I didn't know
Harpoon Larry's.
Harpoon Larry's. I'm just crushing shellfish all week.
Oh, dude.
Shellfish and beer. Shellfish and beer.
That
the two
is-
things that
it's-
are like,
That's the worst combination. And then you're probably having a burger outside of that.
Steak, right?
Yeah, well, I eat a lot of red meat because I got a freezer full of farm-raised, freaking ground up, like, real meat. I don't buy meat from the grocery store. So it's the volume of alcohol, the amount of red meat, plus food high in purine. So shellfish, beans.
I'm calling BS on the whole thing.
I think I'm just like a picture of health and a stud, so I guess I can't relate.
I don't know
I'm
what you
sorry.
told me
I'm
about.
calling BS
Never
on-
mind. We're
I'm
getting off the
calling
rails
BS
here a little
on
bit,
all
but
the science on gout.
no, but it sucks. Now, like black cherry extra, I take I use it as a supplement because I don't really do a whole lot of
I
sugary
use
stuff
Budweiser
and fast
as a
food.
supplement.
No, but I will say, yeah, my Untapped app is 680 beers deep. So
Yeah, exactly.
if Willie was ever on Untapped, it'd be 3 beers: Budweiser, Bud Light, and Lager.
That's the truth. That's true story. All right,
These are a few of my favorite things. So, by the way, don't be hating on Willie for the gout. Shit happens. Whoops, my show.
How long was it before Willie dropped the F-bomb?
Oh, that we were about an hour in. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
It's pretty good.
You guys were suggesting I not drink Budweiser.
No. You alter your diet. You don't change it. I have a fridge full of beer at home. I have a fridge full of beer. Next year at Nationals, I'm going to have one of the greatest after parties because it's 12 minutes from my house. My man cave, my speakeasy will be built. Invite only. And, I'm going to have the perfect Minnesota beer fridge for people to come in. If you want a Budweiser type of beverage, I will have a Minnesota Budweiser type of lager for you.
for the entire.
No, the entire
NCAA.
wrestling community is not invited. I'm sorry,
Everybody
I can't
in
fit 40.
Jason's house.
I can't fit 45,000 wrestling fans in my basement.
We can try.
I'm tweeting your address.
Yep.
Well, everybody knows I live in New Brighton. Speaking of randomness about New Brighton, my high school teammate, my drill partner, Curtis Booth, wrestled at VMI, played football at VMI, just got a job in freaking New Brighton, Minnesota. So there are 2 Pocosin upperweights that are going to be living in the same freaking town.
BFFs.
How does that happen? I saw him at Final X. He was at Final X Rutgers. I'm like, what the? I haven't seen Curtis Booth in like 3 years. He was a pretty good heavyweight. He got screwed in the semis against Wes Humphrey from Fort Defiance.
Fort
Don't do
Defiance.
Don't do this.
Bill Callie was the
Fort
ref there.
Defiance by P.
My ODU guy, our ODU Booster Club guy, was a referee too. Anyway, Willie, what do we got? After we got off the rails on the gout thing, yeah, we were talking about the troll accounts. So yeah, be creative. Be just don't suck.
Who are the best? I'm gonna read off some names. You tell me who the most impressive loser was today.
Most impressive loser, well, Jason Burks.
Hold on.
Just start there.
I'm going to read 14 names. I'm going to read 15 names because there's an extra weight.
Yes, Federation +1, Federation +3 cadets.
Brandon O'Brien, Blake West, Nico Provo, Jason Burks, Ethan Miller, Mick Burnett, Rich Lovett, Victor Voinovich, John Martin Best, Cade DeVos, Garrett Nienhouse, Dustin Plott, Cole Urbis, Dorian Crosby, Aiden Guttridge. I'm not asking who is the best wrestler among them. I'm saying who is
Who put the best performance, or
Still
who had the
lost.
best tournament?
Who had the best finals performance and still lost?
I think
Jason Burks.
Yeah, it has to be Jason Burks.
Because Jason Burks showed us proficiency in every position in freestyle. He was deathly effective on top. He was sick with his takedown games, and he had really good counter offense. He scored on all three of those positions.
I thought, you know what?
And he lost the match.
I really thought that.
mean-
I really thought that the difference maker in that match would be Jason's gut wrench. Jason's gut wrench is world class.
Yeah,
It's
I was
funny.
after each. I mean, Moulton was up 6-0, and boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, takedown, turn. I'm like, oh crap.
It's not.
As an ODU perspective, oh
It's
crap.
not surprising one iota that the kid who made a cadet Greco team has the best gut in the division. Well, Josh Saunders does too.
Saunders, yeah, he's got a pretty good gut right. That was a good match.
What baffles me? I am the greatest mind in wrestling,
Self-proclaimed.
but I don't understand how the Greco guys can have such an effective gut wrench. Like, oh my God, they can turn anybody. But the freestylers can't figure it the freak out.
They have too many options.
Why don't...
Nomad's Whereabouts just tweeted, "Don't hate on my Tinder game because it's fire."
Yeah.
Okay, that's a. I don't know. I haven't
Well, then-
investigated this troll
Mike
account
Folk
yet.
is saying they have too many options. I'm saying if that's the case, everybody says this. I'm not intelligent because of this. Go to the OTC and train strictly part-tier with the Greco guys. And everybody says that, and everybody
Willie
thinks
brings
it.
up Partier. Oh man, our first year we were broadcasting,
go-
he kept saying Partier the whole time. I think of Gary Bertier. Remember the Titans?
I think Jason
How he says
Burks
it.
might be a good one. Hey, Nico Provo confirmed that he's here. He's real.
He's
he
legit.
lost.
Oh,
he lost
absolutely.
to Ayala, but good match. At one point, had to lead 8-7.
I mean, and the bracket actually did kind of. I mean, things kind of went his way. I mean, the Alaska kid gets a forfeit, then Connecticut, Alaska to make a final.
Traditional rivals.
Traditional rivals. No, also as another
Classics.
thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, all bets are off when Alaska and Connecticut meet in
I
junior
thought-
freestyle.
So Burks is probably the runaway winner, but I thought Provo looked good. I thought
Love it.
Ridge Lovett, despite losing, he showed some flash. I'll tell you what was one of the craziest things. You're gonna have to go back and watch it. I don't know if I noticed it because I was calling the match and I was dialed in, or because it was so close to my side of the mat. But almost for the tying, Ridge Lovett was hip to hip with Josh Saunders on a wizard thing, and he climbed over Saunders' back and slipped in a leg on the opposite side. I have never seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it. I want to go back and watch it. I thought it could have been a score. It was freaky, funky. I love it. Go back and watch that
Made a
match.
slide by to a quad pod, and the ref calls a freaking pass him. On
Well, that was
Saunders.
a
That's Coach Foca interjecting again, in case you're wondering.
That was a different situation. Ridge Lovett hit a shrug, slide by, and I mean, two was coming. Two was coming.
He came in
and they called a passive. It was bad. You're right.
Stopped the
You're
call.
right.
That won the match.
Yeah, I saw again the long. I mean, I thought Lovett was a strong two in
Yeah,
this indication because
No.
again
I think,
Burks was I think Burks and Moulton was the best match of the night.
Yeah.
How about that 4 on that inside trip? I know I brought
That
up
was
Moulton
sick.
3 different times because of the ODU reference,
That
but
was
and then that was how about the
creative,
smart review from Illinois there from Daryl Thomas throwing the brick and like no, not 4 and 4.
Yeah.
We want 2 on that, and ended up being a crucial point in the match. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was some creative stuff. You know who I also thought was creative? I don't know. Have we talked? Did we talk about Tanafu?
No.
Tanafu, the cadet,
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
North Dakota kid.
Somalian.
Completely. I've been wrestling 2.5 years. So I'm talking to Kish last night, and Obi's from Haiti, and Tanafu's from Cameroon. Well, they both speak French.
Oh, he's definitely going in.
You got a North Dakota kid in your assist. I think did they just hire Obi because he speaks French and they can recruit this guy? I don't know if what
How
the
about
contact
this?
rules are in
How about
regards to that, but
how about the
he's getting better every single day.
Tanafu kid their family
Still a little light right now.
literally was a cadet.
And he's still a little light.
Going into junior year.
Yeah.
Listen, their family literally won a lottery for citizenship.
Yeah, well, that's common in Uzbekistan too. You're like that's how Bekside and Muzaffar got over here. Is they got a lottery to leave, and a lot of those places you can't leave to the Russia or the U.S. But that's how Bekside told me. He's like, yeah, that's how we got out. Similar fashion.
Wow.
Crazy.
So yeah, Jacayson's probably the winner. Ethan Miller, nah. Mick Burnett got blank, so nah. Rich Lovett, yes. Very
Talking to the
strong performance.
microphone, Mr. Smalls.
Victor Voinovich. Victor Voinovich, despite getting beat 10-4, had some moments.
This
that lefty
magic
shot.
moment.
John Martin Best.
I'm the worst
really.
host in podcasting history. How about West
DeVos,
Virginia?
not
We got to bring
really.
John Martin Best up for two reasons. One, the first time in state history, West Virginia has had 2 finals in any style, any age group, any style the same year. Now, they did have 2 finalists back in the day. And
Who was the first?
the last junior national champion from West Virginia was Mitch Smith.
My cousin.
Hofstra Hofstra then West Liberty. Now he's out of coaching. The very first junior national freestyle champion from West Virginia was none other than
West Virginia,
1984.
1980.
Seth Patera.
Advocare special. Ken Chertow.
Willie actually gave Dylan Palacio, gave Chertow Palacio's email. It was Willie.
I did. I wish I would have thought of it. I would have done it if I would have thought of it.
Why is there no Ken Chertow Twitter accounts?
John Martin Best. Kate DeVos.
Let's be creative,
no,
people.
12
Hey, I just served you up the best parody account on the planet. Let's see if I can bite off flow here. If anybody can create a Twitter account based on this particular episode.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you the topic, Ken Chertow. See what you can do.
Go.
Garrett Nienhouse, no, he got blanked. Dustin Plott, I thought wrestled well, but Assad was like second level.
Yeah, that was 8-2?
Yeah.
That was like not super close.
Yeah.
Assad came to
Crosby, Irvin.
I was actually doing the stats, and I almost put Assad down for Ohio just because of the other group of kids with that name from Ohio, but he's from Illinois.
And so I also wanted to look at, you kind of mentioned it before, Nebraska's doing well with Serrano and Lovett. Now you got Iowa with 2 champs in Kennedy's
post-match interview, I tried to feed him some softballs for the Guillotine podcast about Minnesota and the how did state. It was all Terry Brands. He goes, I'm training to be better than Dan Gable. Like, it was like, okay, Minnesota fans are going to like this episode of the Guillotine Grapevine. Yeah, Kennedy had a good tournament. What do you got, Willie?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Are you doing the Jersey Tornado, or are
That's
you...
what it looked like.
That was a twister. I'm tapping out.
tapping out? Yeah, so
Pat
yeah.
Minio at regionals.
Oh, shots fired. Well, all right, I think we got a mic drop on that one, Willie. That was the greatest thing ever said in the history of podcasting.
That's what I do.
We got Pete Isaiah. Actually, Pete, come here. We got to get Pete on the mic real quick.
Let's get Pete.
Yeah, we got to get Pete. Pete's coming in. Pete Isaiah is tournament director, former assistant coach here at North Dakota State. Pete, your son plays football here. How awesome is that?
Well, actually, it's pretty awesome because it's kind of like built-in babysitting. The program up here has been phenomenal. 7-time national champions, and I think they would do a great job with their student athletes. And for me and my wife, it's having a part-time babysitter and another group of parents up here, so we enjoy it.
Speaking of babysitting, you coached with Bucky Mon for a long, long time. How much babysitting do you have to do with those teams that he had?
I think that we were actually very blessed to have some good student athletes up here. I think that there were a few instances where we had to babysit some kids, maybe some fights and different things like that. But I think in terms of everything, we had a good group of athletes. And Bucky, I had to babysit every now and then, though.
He's the mayor of Fargo.
But definitely, I think Bucky, he's known for his outgoing personality, and he's a goer.
We are seeing entries. We've talked about this on the previous show we did. Entries are up. So far, every style have been announced. The women are up 80, 60, 70, 80. We're seeing it across the board. What do you think the reason is that the kids are flocking back to this tournament?
Well, I really think that right now, I think our state leaders are really putting an effort into to making a good product out there, and I think we're getting some people engaged at the grassroots level that are really helping our growth. I also think that we're an all-time high. I think you've got people like Flo and Track Wrestling out there promoting wrestling. I think that is feeding into our grassroots level. So I think it's a number of different things that are helping, and realistically, you look at our national team right now, and we're hot. I mean, we've got a lot of medalists, a lot of great personalities, a lot of great athletes, and I think everything kind of is helping to grow that pie.
What's interesting is, you were running this tournament when you were an assistant coach here. You worked at this school. You spent a lot of time in this town. How about how we've talked about how Herd and Horns here has kind of reached out to the wrestling community, run by two guys that you coached, co-owners Todd Fuller and Steve Saxland. What is a place like this and seeing what Herd and Horns has done? They've been great for us hosting the show here now the second time, but the local businesses always turn out, but it seems like places like this, and you've got a tie to this because of your former athletes here. What's it like to come in here and have some quality, as they say, upscale street food?
Yeah, and I really think North Dakota State and the Fargo community, it's a great tight-knit community, and the thing that really drives this town is athletics, and I think that's because there's no professional sports here. So you're either one of those bad people that's to that school up north, or you're North Dakota State Bison, and I really think that these guys thrive on athletics, and it's they understand athletics, and I think the community, the university, everybody kind of gets it, and it's great to come back and see my two former athletes I coached, Todd and Steve, and we actually got to go fishing last week before I got setting up at the tournament, and it's nice to enjoy a few soda pops with those guys and enjoy that. Walleye. Yeah, limited out.
I've caught one walleye in my life, and it was definitely not thrown back in. So, Earl, anything for Pete Isaias here? You're catching us as we're wrapping up this episode here. So
that's good.
That's good, yeah, because we're here. We've talked wrestling. We've talked a bunch of stuff this place. But Earl, what do you got? You got anything for Pete?
What's the best thing you've seen? These 4 days on the wrestling mat.
So I really don't watch much wrestling, but I think, knock on wood, we've had some really good kids. We haven't had to have Sandy or anybody announce that we've lost any backpacks.
That's right.
So
because we don't want you in our sport.
So I'm hoping that it stays that way. But I think the conduct of the athletes and the coaches, I think, is probably the best thing that I've seen at this point.
Yeah, it's been pretty tame.
Yeah,
it's been good.
Yep.
Yeah, we've haven't had anybody get escorted out. I'm not going to go down that road about things that have happened in the past because boys will be boys. It's also, we've been here my 21st year. You've been here longer than that because you were working here when it came here in '93 and then combined in '96. What is probably the single hardest thing about this tournament from an event director standpoint?
Well, I think right now the thing that and it ebb and flows. It's been anywhere from our officials. The number of officials that have attended this event now, we have a number of officials that are here, and we thank them. But I think right now at this point, it's the volunteers, the table workers, and the people that are running the cameras. I think that's
Dom's back too.
Yeah.
Dom Vasquez is back.
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Uh-oh.
With the excellent participation rates, this division was up this much. This division was up that much. Is that challenging with the number of mats?
You added a mat this year at 25 now.
I went to 25. It's definitely a challenge. I for the freestyle, we went a couple sessions that we went 30 minutes long. We calculated things out. We shuffled the finals time a little bit later to allow for that overlap. But I think we're able to manage it at this point. I think that having a 6-day event here is a positive thing. I think having the women here is a great thing. And hopefully we can manage the growth for another year or two, and then we'll have to evaluate.
When is the contract?
So we're here through 2021.
Okay.
How about Doug Schwab throwing some shade yesterday, going Unidome greater than Fargo Dome?
Doug always asked me to come down there, but I told him he's already got the folks down Nationals. So
and he's got the preseason. He had the preseason Nationals. They're moving to Des Moines this year.
We've got to spread the wealth, no doubt.
All right, Pete. We'll let you off the hook. Yeah, this is impromptu, but appreciate everything you do for us and making things easier. The only thing I would suggest is maybe add another row of tables and platform to the media table because we got 40 spots for AD Media. It's continually
Now that
growing.
we've moved it forward, the stage a little bit, that's a great idea. I think we will add another row for media. And I really want to say thank you to you guys because I really think that the promotion of the sport is an all-time high, and you guys are doing a great job, and you definitely should pat yourselves on the back for our growth and success.
Well,
also.
Willie has no problem doing that. He's already proclaimed himself the greatest mind in wrestling, so he does that every FRL.
That's a Twitter persona.
That's a Twitter persona. Anything else, gentlemen? Are we going to wrap this one up?
Pete, you're the man. Thanks for everything. I mean, even with the numbers, man, pretty freaking efficient the way things are running. You added one more mat, and things worked out pretty.
I mean,
perfect.
the wheels got to fall off
Yep.
not to set a new record because, I mean, how many more? I mean, it was 4,999 was last year. Just short of 5,000.
You can tell me, Pete, but I guess if it gets too big, I mean, you could always separate the tournaments and have this division here or this division there.
Take it back
But
to 7 days.
You could
or-
move it to a different 7 days, right? Or longer.
Yeah, I think that the next gradual step would be to take it to a seventh day. And we'll constantly evaluate things. I think women's wrestling is going to continue to grow and thrive, and I think we're seeing double-digit increases every year, and I think that's something that we'll evaluate. And it might not be a situation where we take the women out of here. It might be a situation where we go back to the old days of cadets and juniors. But I think, one of the things that I did learn last year is that the women really are aspiring to come to Fargo just like the high school boys, and I think that's a good thing for our sport.
Yeah, I think, we're going to wrap up the show, not to expound too much on that, but I like having girls, Greco, free in the same place. I think it probably makes not logistical, but, logistical too. You guys don't want to have 2 tournaments instead of 1. You don't want to travel to 2 different places and set up a massive tournament. But also for the state associations, they can have 1 bus instead of 2, right?
Yeah, and I think that was also some of the situation with the junior duels with the girls finally getting to the point where they can be with the boys at the junior duels, and the developmental system actually is now the point where, okay, we've got it, but we're at Herd and Horns. Let's enjoy the food. Pete, thanks for stepping in.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Earl, anything else to wrap up here? No, we're good. Willie's good. For the greatest mind in wrestling, for Earl of Tom and Pedro Isaias, John Moore, his unnamed assistant. This has been the second live episode here from Herd and Horns, day 4. Collaborative effort and very little Jersey references. So with that, we'll say goodbye.